कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः परमव्योमभास्करः।
श्रीमते निगमान्त महादेशिकाय नमः। Seetā did warn Ravana. She kept the blade of grass, trinam antaratah kritva. She even asked, if there is not one person who can counsel you, if there is not one person who can advise you to the path of dharma, Ravana, yadi santona vasanti satova nanuvartase. It fell on deaf ears. Ravana in turn asked the Rakshasis to warn Seetā, coax Seetā, threaten Seetā to marry him. That said, Seetā intermittently thought about 11 dampatis. Yatha Suryam Suvarchala, like Lopamudra and Agastya, Vasishtham Arundhati, Vasishtha and Arundhati, Chavana and Sukanya, Nala and Damayanti, Satyavan and Savitri, Keshini and Sagara. So she thought about 11 dampatis and then said, I am too a person who's very neat, clean in character, so is my husband, so we are a very good couple. When I look up to so many couples who are such inspirations, why are we to undergo this ordeal? She asked, as she put her case to rest, and we did go through 2 testimonials by 2 great authors about Seetā's Patram, by Right Honorable V. Srinivasa Shastri and Swami Vivekananda. Seetā now checked a lady approaching her. Seetā wondered who this lady is in the middle of the night. After Ravana has gone, after all the threatening, after she getting worried about her future, who is this lady who's approaching her? She was also a Rakshasi. A Rakshasi who had so much hair that she would plait them in 3 different directions. So she had one here, and one at the back. So she had 3 jatas. So she was called Trijata. So Trijata is the stree here. Trijata is the Brahmana in Ayodhya Kandam in Ayodhya. So we should not get confused. There is a character, a male character called Trijata, who is a Brahmana to whom Rama gave away all his wealth, meaning his cow, the bovine race, before he left Ayodhya to the forest. In Sundara Kandam, that was Kandam 2, Ayodhya Kandam. In Kandam 5, which is Sundara Kandam, in Lanka there is a Rakshasa stree called as Trijata. So she had 3 jatas, so much hair she had. So Trijata approaches Seetā and says, Seetā, I had a dream. Because it was a night time. All of them were supposed to sleep, but Seetā couldn't because of Ravana entering, threatening, and then she being very restless. So Trijata says, I had a dream. Vaji sahasrena lakshmanena samagataha. I had a dream. Vaji sahasrena. Vaji means horse. Sahasram, 1000. Vaji sahasrena. Along with 1000 horses. What did she dream? Along with those 1000 horses, Lakshmanena samagataha. Lakshmana was also coming along. Now we may wonder, how does Trijata know about Lakshmana? Whether, see, even if she had heard, how will she know this is Lakshmana? Because Seetā used to keep talking to her. in Sundara Kandam about Rama and Lakshmana while giving those physical characteristics, their demeanor, their unique abilities and attributes. So, Trijata through her dream knew very well that the one who was accompanying the 1,000 horses was Lakshmana. Chaturdantam Mahagajam Saha Lakshmanaha. There was an elephant, Chaturdantam, it had 4 tusks. Sthenashtayuja Swayam Lakshmanena Sahagataha. So there were about 8 bullocks. Sthenashtayuja Swayam. Ashtayuja Swayam. So there were 8 bulls or bullocks. Then Pushpakam Divyam Lakshmanena Sahabhratra. So there also she says, along with Lakshmana, there is this Pushpaka, Divya Pushpaka. So there was 1 Pushpaka Vimanam. There were about 8 bullocks. There was an elephant with 4 tusks. And then there were 1,000 horses. 1,000 horses, 8 bullocks, 1 elephant with 4 dantas, 4 tusks, and 1 Pushpaka Vimana. All this in every verse while describing this, while describing 1,000 horses, Trijata says, along with, I saw you and Rama along with Lakshmana. Lakshmanena Samagataha. Then while describing the 8 bullocks, Sthenana Yuja Swayam, Sthena Ashtayuja Swayam, she says, Lakshmanena Sahagataha. I saw you and Rama along with Lakshmana. While describing the elephant with 4 tusks, she says, Chaturdantam Mahagajam Saha Lakshmanaha, along with Lakshmana. Then, while describing the Pushpaka Vimanam, Pushpakam Divyam Lakshmanena Sahabhratra. While describing the Pushpaka Vimanam, she says that I saw Lakshmana too. Why while describing the Pushpaka, Lakshmana is described, while describing the bullocks, Lakshmana is described, while describing the elephant, Lakshmana is told, while describing the 1,000 horses, it is said along with Lakshmana, because every now and then Seetā must have repented internally and she must have blurted out to Trijata as well that while leaving, before I was kidnapped, I had hurt Lakshmana very severely. He was like my son. I have spoken words which are not to be spoken by a mother to a son or a son-like person. I have spoken such words. So every now and then she was telling Lakshmana, so in her thoughts, she had Rama and Lakshmana. Rama as a husband, Lakshmana as a son, just not as a brother-in-law. So this thought was translated in a dream and was verily duly communicated by Trijata. So she continues, Trijata says, I saw the horses, the 1,000 horses, were drawing a palanquin made of ivory. Then she, while describing the elephant with 4 tusks, she also continues, Trijata continues, that I saw you all dressed, that you and Rama were dressed in white. Shuklamalyam baradharo lakshmanena samagataha swapne chadya maya drishta Seetā shuklambarāvrita uttaram disham alokya prasthitah purushottamaha nahi ramo mahatejaha shakyo jetum suraihi. Shuklamalyam baradharaha. I saw you and Rama in Shukla Vastram, in white clothes. Lakshmanena Samagataha. There also Trijata says, I saw both you and Rama in white clothes along with Lakshmana. Swapne Chadyamaya Drishta Seetā Shuklambarāvrita. You were also wearing white. When they say white, she doesn't give a description of whether they had patterns, whether they had horizontal patterns, vertical patterns, whether they were checked, whether it had a border, what color border, what zari was put in it, whether it was mountain, whether it is a brocade. All this description doesn't feature, but we must assume it cannot be a single color. It will be white primarily, with some color to go with it, some thread to go with it, some color to go with it. But there is another point here. In the last 500 to 800 years, when Bharata Desham, the larger Indian subcontinent, let's include the geography of Bangladesh, even Pakistan to a large extent, and some parts of Afghanistan, they were all under foreign occupation. For over 500 to 800 years, they were either Turks, they were Greeks, they were though some of the Greeks were visiting, Turks were occupying, later came the Portuguese, the Dutch, the British, the French. So in the last 500 to 800 years, there is some amount of turmoil even in the way we speak, dress and eat, especially in the north of India. So white was always seen in the last few centuries as a color of widowhood. So if a woman turns widow, white is the color. But in Sanatana Dharma, no color is meant for a certain race, no color is meant for a certain religion, no color is meant for a certain gender. Colors are colors. So nature has gifted us so much colors. So there is nothing in Sanatana Dharma which says that we are averse to green. Because when you look at the beautiful rice and paddy fields, they are all green. When you look at the meadows and the grass, it's all green. When you look up to the trees in the monsoon season, they are green. So what's wrong with the green color? When you look at the saffron, when you look at the kesar, when you look at the chandanam, sandalwood, they're all shades of orange and yellow. When you look at milk, you look at hamsa bird, you look at anything to do with purity, it's all white. When you look at the dark clouds that are going to precipitate, they're all dark, they're grey or black. When you look at the collyrium, anjanam, it's black. Krishna, Rama, Draupadi, they were all dark. So we are not averse to any color. So this concept that white is a sign of widowhood is broken here, because she says, Seetā Shuklambara Vrita, I saw you in white dress. I saw Rama in white dress. Go take up the book of Mahabharatam. In the 18 Parvas, the first Parva is Adi Parva. In Adi Parva comes Vainateya Upakhyanam, which is Garuda Upakhyanam. In that there is a mention about the Samudra Manthanam. In Samudra Manthanam, when Mahalakshmi emerges, Lakshmi Kshira Samudra Rajatanaya, she is dressed in white. So white is not a color that is a bad omen at all. So here she says, Shuklamalyam Baradharo Lakshmanena Samagataha Swapne Chadyamaya Drishta Seetā Shuklambara Vrita Uttaram Dishamalokya Prasthitav Purushottamaha Nahiramo Mahatejaha Shakyojetum Sura Suraihi. So there is a clear mention, a neat mention of white. That's it. All this is pertaining to Rama, Seetā and Lakshmana. All very auspicious. 1,000 horses pulling a palanquin which is made in ivory. Seetā and Rama dressed in white. They look pristine, so clear and so pretty. Lakshmana is there accompanying them. There is a beautiful royal elephant with 4 tusks, Chaturdantam. Then he talks about 8 bullocks. He talks about the Pushpaka Vimanam. There is all grandeur. There is always a showcase of something which is very auspicious, Mangalakaram. That's it. How was Ravana's state? She begins. I saw Ravana, I dreamt of Ravana with a shaven head. It's completely tonsured. Bathed in oil. Attire in red. Drunken and falling from the Pushpaka Vimanam, is sitting on an ass which is moving in the southern direction. She says, Ravanascha maya drishto mundastaila samukshitaha raktavasaha piban mattaha karavira kritasrajaha vimanat pushpakadadya ravanaha patitakshitau krishyamana striya mundo drishtaha krishnambaraf punaha rathena kharayuktena raktamalyanulepanaha. This is the description. What is so terrifying about it? What is so worrying about it? Is it the oil? Is it the red? Is it the tonsured head? More to it in the next episode.
Dear Astika reader, I am happy to be authoring a 2-part book on the Ramayana in English. The first part is slated for release in the year 2024. The book aims to recreate and retell the Ramayana of Valmiki, conforming to the ancient commentaries and other allied literature. To receive notifications of the book release, kindly register with www.deshikadaya.org/books. Namaskaram.